Hello, hello, hello. Hello. Anything? All right, cool. It's working now. All right, yeah, because I had to switch it. All right, cool. Fuck yeah. All right, is the music too loud or can you hear it? You can hear me? Okay, there you go. Because in my microphone, in my headset, I can hear it, but it's really low, so I can hear myself. So sorry about that. Putting Ether to sleep over here. So anyway, like I was saying, I was talking about the Emerald tablets. I had put the video out about Billy Carson. Um, like a Verizon commercial. You fucking fools. I love you guys. But anyway, like I was saying, I had put a video out earlier this week. I think it was Wednesday. And had posted some stuff about Billy Carson. If you don't know who that is, go and check him out. He's a very, very knowledgeable researcher putting on information on ancient civilizations. And also, he translates and does studying on ancient tablets. Okay. But can you hear me though? Do I sound okay? I mean, do I need to turn the mic up? Is that better? Is that good? Here, I'll turn the music off. I don't want you falling asleep and shit. Is that better? All right. Can you hear me? Let me know, brother. Let me know. My buddy Daniel giving me a thumbs up. Thank you, brother, for the support. Appreciate you. All right, sweet. But all right, cool. Um, like I was saying, I can't. I'm gonna leave this chat window open so that way I could see it, but I also want to see um what I'm looking at over here, so that way I'm not, you know, screwing something up, and I could talk to you guys at the same time. All right, cool. So as I was saying, let me turn this. Let me go ahead and turn this music off. I don't fucking care if it's open or not, but um, like I was saying, both who was the Egyptian god was said to have um, written the Emerald Tablets, and it talks a lot about who we are, where we come from, um, and a lot of similarities about between what Jesus was saying in the Bible, um, where he was discussing about reincarnation or coming back and being born again, and um, just the similarities. Like I said, I've always wondered why it is that ancient texts such as the Bible, it just wasn't jiving to me. And I'm not doubting anybody or saying anything. Believe whatever you want to believe. All I'm saying is what I've looked into and what I've seen. And what I've looked up, it 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 makes more sense to me that these stories or these incidences were coming from an ancient civilization thousands of years before then, and also with the teachings that we were learning in the Bible, it just wasn't jiving up to me. So anyway, gonna be a good show. Why isn't it stopping? Okay. So yeah, yeah, good shit. Um, talking about ancient civilizations, and I got a lot of stuff. Um, the one thing that was really fascinating to me, one of the things is uh ancient Tartaria. Now, this is a subject for me. Like I said, I'm sorry. I don't really know a hell of a whole lot about it, but it's really crazy because to me, this seems like a big narrative of not only just an ancient civilization in itself, but culture that was just completely wiped out. I've never heard of it until now, but the narrative behind it of why it was erased was um, something that really baffled me, and which makes sense to me of why President Vladimir Putin was going to release this information that they had in their archives to the public. And then I guess the CIA had a document that relates to this, actually discussing that it was a setup to erase the knowledge of this this culture and the history of it purposefully. And it fucking shocked me, man, because I never knew this. Never knew it. Let me see if I can pull up the document here. That's not it. Uh, Here it is. Okay. So let me put this back down right here. All right. I'm gonna load this page up, and I think I can search words in here. If it's gonna let me, I don't think it's gonna let me. Sorry, sucks. But anyway, um, all right. Let's see. Let's go through this. Share screen. Why isn't this popping up? Window, window, window. Where are you at? This one. All right. Let's do that one. All right. Here it is. Can you all see it? So, like I said, this is coming straight from the CIA, and this is a document. I never knew anything about it, and it goes into the natural cultural development under communism, and it actually says it. You see it right here. All right. And it goes into talking about the Muslim population in Russia and how Russia was, the whole trying to tell them that they have a right to be people and to free worship. But like I said, the big thing that was in here was they actually talk about the suppression of information of Tartaria. And that flipped me out because I was like, whoa, wait a minute. If this place did not exist, why would they have it in documentation? And this just proved it. So I'm going to go through here and then I'll find it and we'll read it together. But um, it just baffled me that this culture was just so prominent. And one of the things that I learned was that the ideas and the knowledge that we have of Genghis Khan was totally wrong. And we all see um, videos or depictions of Genghis Khan as this Asian man, but there are actually depictions of him in the regions of Tartaria, that show him as a white man with blue eyes and red hair. Sound kind of familiar, right? Kind of like what we saw here in the United States when the natives were talking about the red-headed giants, fair skin. All right, here we go. I found it. I found it. It says, uh, take the matter of history, which, along with the language and literature, constitute the core of the people's cultural heritage. Here again, the communists have interfered in a shameless manner. For example, on 9 August 1944, these Tartar Prevalence Committee to proceed to a scientific revision of the history of Tartaria, a revision to the history of Tartaria, right here, scientific revision of the history of Tartaria, to liquidate serious shortcomings and mistakes of a nationalistic character committed by individual writers and historians in dealing with Tartar history. In other words, Tartar history was to be rewritten. Right here. Let us be frank, was to be falsified in order to eliminate references to great Russian aggressions and to hide the facts of the real course of Tartar Russian relations. And if you look at the picture of Russia's flag, it's a man on a horseback stomping or spearing a griffin, which was the uh, emblem of Tartaria, which I'll go into right now. But yeah, this just blew my mind because I never you hear about Tartaria on YouTube and everybody, getting on there and talking about the history and the grand culture and I was like, "Man, what in the hell is going on with this?" Like, I've never looked into this. And since we're doing ancient cultures and civilizations, this culture was not that far away. We're talking about the 17 and 1800s here. But the culture itself was so far ahead in what it was doing with free energy, with building these empires and building and its advances in technology were so it was just like it for them, it was like us being back then. They had the technology to have wireless communication, and I have video of that shit because I found it, and I was like, "What the hell?" There's people fucking sitting there talking on a radio, wireless radio, with an antenna to somebody in a radio station somewhere in another. They had electricity, for Christ's sake, running to these buildings, gathering this stuff from the atmosphere. And we're sitting here talking about this stuff like it was, it's science fiction, when in actuality it was not. These people had this stuff readily available to them and were living their life in a simple manner, which is crazy because we've always been told that we were the civilized ones. We were the only ones that were able to do this stuff and were the prominent ones all over. Give me a minute. All right. Can you hear me? Hello? Cool. Thank you, baby. I love you. All right. So, ow. Um, we've always been told that we were the civilized ones and that, oh, we had cell phones and, this technology is something that's brand new. When in actuality, it wasn't. This stuff has been around for years. And we're going to get into that too, but I just wanted to share this paperwork with you. If you want to, I'll post it inside of the description so you can have it and you can look it over yourself. But like I said, I mean, this is crazy. So they're saying that the Communist Party rewrote history to distort the facts so that the Russians appear always in light, and needless to say, the historians which presented the facts truthfully have been withdrawn and destroyed so that the present and the future generations of Muslims are forever denied the chance of learning the true facts of their nation's past. Such is the manner in which communists respect Muslims' belief in customs, Muslims' national and cultural institutions. So they're saying that the Russians are the ones that did it, but that is not going to be the case because we know that World War One, we had the Napoleonic War, were destroying a lot of things. And things were just being destroyed all over the place. You had buildings that were being destroyed, being bombed. You had um, cultural artifacts that were being. We even seen this kind of thing, and this makes sense to me now looking back on it because if anybody that was in the military knew about what ISIS was supposedly doing in Iraq and Afghanistan by destroying these ancient artifacts and these temples and these buildings and these statues, et cetera, whatever. This goes along with that narrative. It is something that um, the heads of governments have been putting together, and like I said, I've been looking at this stuff, and it's blowing my mind to think that, like I said, these people were just are literally trying to erase this history. And when you look at it, this is beautiful stuff, really beautiful stuff. And I'm not talking about just, you know, oh, check out this, this architect. Have you ever like looked at statues and wondered how in the fuck did they get these statues to look so realistic? You could see the veins and the muscles protruding in the legs and the ribs, and the veils look like like the statue would literally just come alive. Well, this is why, because these people had the technology to do, and this goes back years. As we look back at the life of architecture of the old world, often resembles craft among the enigmatic elements are the inspired old world buildings. All right, let me we'll go over this video real quick because this shit just blew me away, man.
Removed. This curious alteration begs the question, why were these architectural features, once so integral to these structures, deliberately erased from the skyline? The mainstream narrative posits that many World Fair buildings in places like Chicago and Nashville were temporary constructions built rapidly for the specific purpose of hosting the world's fairs, only to be dismantled shortly thereafter. However, this essay challenges the accepted story and ventures into a less explored theory that suggests a vastly different origin for these structures. This alternative perspective proposes that these buildings were not the products of modern construction for temporary exhibitions, but were instead the remnants of a previous advanced civilization that existed before the last global reset event. This theory, often referred to as the theory of Great Tartaria or the Tartarian Empire, echoes the concepts of the Younger Dryas impact theory. It posits that the Greco-Roman style of structures,
which is why I said this is one of the reasons why they were hiding it,
of multiple separate civilizations as we're told, but the legacy of a singular advanced society that met its end roughly a century to a century and a half ago. How this civilization met its downfall is still a subject of much debate and speculation. Many point towards the buried old world buildings as evidence that giant mud floods were at least a piece of the puzzle. Others point towards the Russian imperial flag as evidence that Tartaria was deliberately destroyed by the powers that be. In either case, it is clear that this is a...
And there you see the flag of the Griffin. This was their emblem. And as I said, in the CIA document, it does talk about Russian communist parties suppressing this information because they went through and were like wiping out everything about the history of these people, because you had three separate Tartarian, you had the northern, the middle, and the southern, which is like China, and the Asian, Pacific right there. And then you had the middle, which was like where Russia is, and then you had the northern Tartarians, which were like the nomad.
A society that was highly advanced in architecture and technology. A significant aspect of the Great Tartaria hypothesis revolves around the function of the spires that crowned many of these old world buildings. It is speculated, based on the material, physics, and shape of these structures, particularly the spires, that they may have served a purpose far beyond mere architectural aesthetics. The theory suggests that these spires could have been integral components in a network of wireless electricity transmission. This idea gains traction when we examine the ubiquitous style of these buildings, especially the Greco-Roman style Capitol buildings across the USA. Conventionally, we attribute these edifices to 19th century American architects and builders, assuming that their design was intended to pay homage to Greek and Roman style architecture. However, when you really sit down and think about it for a moment, the Tartarians Aristotelian theory makes a lot more sense in this respect. Instead of multiple unique civilizations across thousands and thousands of years building in the very same style of architecture, the argument of a single civilization creating these structures globally presents a more cohesive narrative. It suggests a world where a unified society was capable of erecting Greco-Roman style buildings across different continents, embedding a consistent architectural signature across various landscapes.
All right. So what he's saying here, if for anybody that probably hasn't gotten or that's just tuning in right now, thank you. Welcome. Glad you guys are here. Let's have some fun. Please get in the comments and talk. If you want to get on, we can get on and talk, and I'll bring you guys on. You guys can get on live. What he's saying is that if you look, even look at the White House, the Capitol building, right? We were always told that George Washington and them built the Capitol building. And I think it was like on a History Channel, they were saying they were trying to find the cornerstone where George Washington supposedly put the cornerstone, but they can never find it. There are pictures of the Capitol building that was covered by this mud flood when they were doing some renovation work. The part of the building that was one of the original foundations is underneath this thing. So everything that we're seeing, like these old buildings, the Capitol building or the artwork building that's in San Francisco, they showed a video of it back in here, was actually built by these Tartarians. You see this stuff with, the electricity.
Fantastical as it may sound, is not without precedent in the annals of scientific exploration. Nikola Tesla, the renowned inventor and electrical engineer, famously experimented with wireless electricity transmission in the early 20th century. His ambitious vision of a world powered by free wireless energy seems eerily similar to the speculated functions of the ancient spires. This parallel leads us to ponder, could the old world civilization have achieved what Tesla only dreamed of? This hypothetical ancient society, armed with an advanced knowledge of architecture, physics, and electromagnetism, might have devised a system of energy distribution that surpasses anything we have managed in the modern era. The spires, intricately designed and strategic.
Look at this shit, dude. You're going to sit here and tell me that these motherfuckers in horse carts and buggies fucking did this shit. And we can't replicate this even today? There's no way. They're hiding this shit. We've been lied to. Oh, yeah, bro. Smithsonian's got they talk about that too. They've got a mile block. It's like 2 blocks. A building with shit. And they got tunnels and mass freaking artifacts down there. It's just it just blows my mind, because when you look at it, everything that's inside of the Smithsonian, you got the Smithsonian, you've got the archives in the Catholic Cathedral, where they've been hiding all their stuff. God knows if we're ever going to see any of that stuff, the things that they probably have in there. But all this stuff was hidden from us. And like he was saying, Nikola Tesla was on the verge of having this stuff done, of giving us this free and this technology. What if this stuff was already here? What if this stuff was already implemented in the societies and the cultures that were around in the 1700s, working in through the 1800s? And then we get into the World War I, World War II, eradicating and blowing up and destroying all these buildings. And then they talk about there's these things where they talk about the World Fair.
Strategically placed could have been more than mere symbols of architectural grandeur. They might have been integral components of a global network of energy transmission, harnessing natural electromagnetic forces.
I'm just going to skip
technology of wireless electricity. Additionally, Tesla's approach to invention was that Tesla later rediscovered also aligns with his vision of providing free and unlimited energy to the world. Tesla's ambition was not merely to invent, but to improve humanity's condition, a goal that resonates with the speculated ethos of the old world civilization, which
Like I said,
prioritized
I mean,
communal
this stuff
welfare
goes
and harmony with
into all
nature.
of this. Goes into all of this. And that's why I say it's one of those things where we've been lied to. You know, what's really going on here? In that book of A Journey to Other Worlds by John Jacob Astor, like I was talking about in the very first episode, if anybody hasn't seen it or wasn't around, probably not, but John Jacob Astor came out with a book. Let me see if I can find that too. And he talks about other worlds. And he gets into great detail. I'm talking about cell phones, wristwatches, highways, vehicles that weren't on propulsion. He was already talking about electric vehicles that were running on batteries. You could charge them and they would run and last for 3 days. He gives you the descriptions on how to build these batteries. And this just makes more sense to me now, collaborating all this stuff together, and especially with the CIA documents and what theories that these guys are coming out with. It makes sense. These fucking people had the technology. It was suppressed by these big bankers, corporations, JP Morgan, the Rockefellers, Thomas Edison, who else? These other corporate fuckers that took away everything from Nikola Tesla and ran his shit into the ground and stole his patents when he was trying to just do God's work and give humanity a chance. You know, this man was just ran into the ground, and I feel sorry for him because it sucks. And will we ever see this stuff? I mean, are we ever going to be able to harness this? I mean, thank God that there's people that are actually out there doing work and trying to get this stuff going. I think it was, yeah, here we go. John Jacob Astor the fourth. All right. So here's I'll put this link in the comments. You guys can what were you watching, brother? Here, I'll put this in the comments. You guys can check it out and look it up yourself. But John Jacob Astor actually talks about these this exact shit, this exact thing. Let me see. This damn thing's not working. Get in there. Ba-dum, bum, bum. Copy. Paste. There it goes. All right, cool. Well, at least you got some family time in, bro. I'm glad you told me because I'm not going to watch it now. All right, so there is the book. All right, so right now we were just talking about ancient Tartaria, and I put in. I don't know if you were able to get back where I was talking about the CIA document I just posted, and I'll put that inside of the description as well. Let me go back. It's cool because you guys don't have to do it. I'll do it for you. God damn it. Let me Yeah. So the CIA released a document, and I think it was in 1965, talking about the Russian Empire was willfully and erasing Tartarian history to cover it up, to change it, suppress it, so that way people didn't know about it. And you could read it for yourself. Like I said, I'm gonna put that up here. You guys can check it out. Copy, bastard. Anyway, I don't know why this thing's being fucking stupid. It is though, but let's see. Are you going in there? Anyway, so the CIA document talks about how they were trying to cover this shit up, and they did, because we don't these grand buildings that are put see these, and we were told that, oh, they were just temporary. They put them up for a day or two, and then they ended up tearing them down. And then what I'm talking about is the World Fair. These World's Fairs are I'll get into that right now because I got another video. I'll show it to you. This out. Here we go. We'll look at this. You guys can
Howdy,
see that
y'all.
right there.
Welcome back. Today we have 1 hour of definitive old world content.
And the other thing too is we know that they told us that during World War II they had tore down and collected all the bells to use it for metal, right? Well, when you look at the old buildings and you start doing your research, you find that they didn't need to take up all these bells to get the fucking metal to make their arsenal, right? And it goes back into the whole thing about energy, is because the resonancy, these bells were tuned to a frequency that would affect people and cause you got to remember, we're all made out of frequencies and vibrations. Our bodies are tuned into a specific hertz, a wavelength that everything around us tunes into these frequencies. And these bells were actually made to be tuned to a frequency. And you've got them collecting these bells and destroying them. And this is why I said this goes back into that reset. They're doing this shit on purpose to erase the history of this stuff. And now you have churches that play this frequency on speakers. Why it would make a difference? People would say, "Oh, well, it's the same shit. You're playing the frequency, right?" Exactly, bro. It's old school stuff.
Coming your way.
Destruction.
If this is your first time here,
is them doing this stuff. Why you see it intentionally, because you go back and you look at these ancient civilizations, I mean, and these structures and these towers that they're finding. I'm just going to mute the video because he's going to go off talking about stuff. And look at this shit, dude. All this stuff was underground, buried by this mud flood. You got this giant tower that you see the guy standing in front of it. And they're telling you that these buildings were put up by somebody in like 2-4 year time. Horse shit.
I clear my hard drive. I'd like to make a compilation of the best photographs from that previous set of research.
As I talk about this stuff, when we look at these pictures, look at this, dude. One of the theories about this is that these structures were already here. They were already here in place when the founding fathers got here. They took all this shit over And all this stuff correlates and it goes into play with these ancient civilizations that were already here. Okay, you had Africans that were already here. You had Jamaicans that were already here. You had South Americans that were already here. The Aztecs, the Incas, all these people were here. Wouldn't it make sense that they would bring this cultural knowledge to America and have it already instilled and set up? These ancient builders, this Tartarian race. This shit would take years to build, not fucking 2 years. We're talking years. So to me, it just makes more sense because it correlates with, like I said, with the CIA document. That's the other thing. Is that Billy Carson talks about the pyramids in Egypt and the pyramids that are in Teotihuacan. The base of the Teotihuacan pyramids are exactly the same dimensions as the pyramids in Giza. And the pyramid in Teotihuacan goes up to 50% the height of the pyramid of Egypt. Come on, man, that's preciseness to a fucking T. And it talks about in the Emerald Tablets that Thoth built the pyramids. He says, I am the one, he pretty much says, I'm the one who built the pyramids. He left to go bring this knowledge to the people in the West. He went to new lands because his brother was like, man, you're causing too much shit. You need to get out of here, go leave and go do stuff. Go take your mess somewhere else so I could do my business. And he left and went over to South America, came to Americas, and built this stuff. The Incas, all this shit was built already. These civilizations left where they were at, came into this place. He taught them knowledge when they came into these structures and these buildings and showed them how to implement the knowledge, how to use them. They're all power-based buildings. They're all built on aquifers. We know this. The pyramid has water running underneath it. So did Chichen Itza or in Teotihuacan. They're all set up on the same solar of Orion, solar imagery of Orion's belt perfectly. And when you look down on them, they look like computer chips, the way they're set up, and then the actual imagery of, what you see over the pyramids. And yeah, too much similarities, but the point that I'm saying is that we know that these ancient cultures were way more civilized than us. We know this for a fact. I mean, look at that, dude. Look at that tower. I think in one of these videos, it shows the lady, she pulls out this phone. I'm going to find it real quick. This lady pulls out this freaking she pulls out this fucking cell phone thing, dude, and is like going off and showing no, don't do this. Here we go. Let's check this bad boy out. So here you have this guy. This is fucking cool. All right. This is cool shit, man. I mean, look at this. You're gonna sit here and tell me that these people didn't have fucking a mindset to fucking put 2 and 2 together. Come on, man. Look at this, bro. These people weren't stupid. They knew what they were doing. They had the means, they had the know-how. They were fucking smart, man. They knew exactly what they were doing. Look at this, dude. This dude's rolling on fucking motor-powered fucking roller skates. A lot of the shit that we see today is nothing new. What is the old saying? There's nothing new under the heavens. There's nothing in this earth that is new. This stuff has been around for years. Nikola Tesla was trying to prove that. But now it wasn't just only him. You have a lot of inventors that were suppressed and their inventions were just snatched up. Thomas Edison, fucking thief. That dude didn't invent shit. Stole a bunch of stuff. What was it? George Carver, I believe his name is. If I'm wrong, fucking correct me. But let me get into some of these comments. Yeah, bro. Brett. A lot of they talk about that too, and then you see that with ancient civilizations, especially in South America. These old structures were just built over. You can see the 2 layers of stuff. Just you have the newer version built over the older one. The older one is so fucking sturdy. The newer one just looks like crap. And oops, sorry, bro. But yeah, I totally agree with you. There's a lot of stuff that shows all this. So ancient civilizations that were here. There's theories about King Solomon being the first king of Tartaria. Man, I really wish I would have. I'm going to put this one inside of the summary too, so you guys can have it. Because this one's really good. I like this one too. This was another great one.
Over 12,000 years. But it wasn't until recently that we also discovered something even more mind-blowing than any of that. What we discovered is that global cataclysms happen all the time, and that our last one may have been as recent as 200 years ago, right around the time of the Revolutionary War. During this period of global
Can you hear it?
Secret societies like the Freemasons and the Papal State seized control of our historical timeline, skewing it in their own favor. They rewrote the history books and moved into the buildings left by the previous society, claiming them as their own. They monopolized our governments and controlled curriculums. They poisoned our drinking water and made every effort to dumb us down. But the thing about the truth is, no matter how much it will always find a way to surface. In this video, we are going to lay out all the evidence, everything to dig and find, to prove the theory of Great Tartaria is a valid historical hypothesis and should be considered more highly by those in the mainstream academic community. The evidence, in my opinion, is all around us, hidden in plain sight, a unified architectural signature somehow spread all across the world, centuries before globalization. Magnificent basilicas built to last forever in towns with a population.
I put the video inside of there so you guys can check it out.
Don't exist. Building timelines
Please watch it.
don't add up.
Really,
Empires
really, really, really
everywhere California, all across the U.S., somehow getting so hot that they were able to melt thousands of brick and stone buildings into
This was the
piles of
Great
rubble
Reset.
and magma, sometimes 2 or 3 times in the same city. We are undoubtedly, in my opinion, living in the ruins of a civilization that had technology beyond our comprehension, and in this video, I am going to do my absolute best to prove it to you. Prepare yourselves for the Tartarian Empire. Full theory explained.
So if you get a chance, check it out. Like I said, I wanted to just present that to you guys, so you guys can see it, because it's fucking interesting. Yeah, a lot of the old tech was buried, but it's still, you can still go, like, hey bro, like we were in Germany, right? We see a lot of these old buildings, we go to the ruins. If you look up videos of the architecture of these buildings, they still have the grounding rods that ran into the ground in the buildings on the outside that run up to the towers. I didn't know that, because I wish that when we were in Baumholder, we could I would have thought to look at this stuff, but they still have it there, and some of these buildings are still running off of this free energy. And a lot of the literature is gone. A lot of the books are gone. Like I said, the CIA put that document out saying that there was a wipage of these ancient civilizations and their information on it. We didn't know anything about this empire. There was a reason why they fucking wiped it out, just because these people were so far ahead of their time. They were doing things that these bankers were like, we can't profit off this shit. We got to fucking stop this, man. Wham. There you go. Let's go to fucking war. We could bomb the fucking structures. We'll just wipe everything out. We'll get rid of it. We'll just get it fucking done. All in one set. So it's fucking crazy, dude. You know what I mean? We look at this stuff. We walk around every day, and we don't take the time to actually go, hey, until you look at it and you realize that everything around us is not what we think. There are buildings. Like I said, the technology is there. It's just been suppressed from us and hidden from us, because if we continued to do what they were doing back then, we wouldn't have to rely on the government. We wouldn't have to rely on PG&E. We wouldn't have to sit here and rely on gas automobiles. You see a lot of these inventors now that are coming out with this technology like they had back then. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. Is that on, just Google it, or? Mud. Yeah, bro. We gotta. I was just telling my wife about this, dude. Is that I want to take her back to Europe so bad, man, because I just love it. I love history. I love Europe. That's the one reason why, besides having to go to war, is why I liked being in the military, dude, is because you get to travel, and the military fucking paid for it. It was like being, yeah, thank God for the internet, but it's not the same, man. It's when you get there and you can see it, touch it, feel it, and experience it, and actually see what you're talking about firsthand is the exciting thing, man, is because you can hold it, you can touch it, you can actually see it and be like, holy shit, I'm looking right at this. Yeah, true. Yeah. Yeah, dude. That was fucking crazy. The old lookout tower in Eder Oberstein. For sure, brother. Good times. I love it. Miss it. Yeah, Matt, I'm gonna have to look that up, brother. You're gonna have to message that to me and send me the link so I could check it out. Mud Fossil University. All right. Gotcha. All right. I'm going to save this in my bookmark. All right. But yeah, like I said, man, I mean, the civilizations, you know, when you think about things, for me, it's not the questioning of was there. We know there was. And another document too I am going to give you is the CIA wrote a document about the hidden information that they have on the creation story, on documentation that they had seized, um, pertaining to where we come from and the ancient disasters that have happened over the years. You got to read this fucking thing, dude, because me and my wife sat down and I was reading it to her, and it makes fucking sense now. About our timeline and ancient um, destructions that happened. Huh. It breaks it down, man. It breaks it down, and the CIA fucking had all this shit. They've got the information that has been suppressed. So I'm gonna take this. Let's see if I could put this into comments. I don't know if it's gonna let me have it. Well, that's what I said, bro. I'm trying to paste. I'll send it to you. I'll send this stuff to you because it's in files and it's not allowing me to actually copy and it's only letting me do it as a path, and I don't want you guys getting on my shit. Let's see. Copy. Paste. Yeah, it's not letting me do it. But if I get a chance to, I will definitely let me show it to you, man, so you can see it. So I guess it's just you, bro. I guess it's just you that's on here with me. Well, let me see if I can. I'll show you what it looks like. Just go Google Adam and Eve story. If you Google Adam and Eve story, it'll pop up. All right, and let me video shot this so you guys can see what the hell I'm talking about. All right, share screen. Adam and Eve story. All right, so if you look up Adam and Eve story CIA, you see Central Intelligence right here, correct? Let me know if you got it, bro. So that way. I want you guys to Google this and let me know when you get it, because I'll fuck it, dude. Let me see if I can copy it. Put it in here. Will it work? I guess it's not letting me do it. All right. Let's see. Paste. There it goes. Ta-da. Nice shit. All right. There you go. That'll lead you right to it. Anyway, so if you get it, you could download it. Okay. Open it up. It's a PDF file. Read it. Read it. It will fucking blow your mind. All right. I like I said, me and my wife were sitting right here and she was just like looking at me like, where did you get this? And I was like, it came off the CIA website. They had documents on it. Pretty fucking nuts. Sweet. Gotcha. I'll take care of you, bro. So you ain't got to have no tablet. Everything that I got, I'll give it to you. But let me go back up. Take this off. All right. But yeah. Good stuff, man. I mean, I don't know, man. I have no idea. He might be busy, bro. He might be doing something. But like I said, man, this stuff is very interesting to me. It's something that I want to share and delve into your guys' mind. Or you can have it on your watch it on your device so it's bigger and then you can research it on your phone, bro. But like I said, I mean, we can't believe the narrative and be put into the box of what society is telling us we have to believe. Well, this is shit you learned in school. It's got to be right. No, because we know that these fucking people took over the school system. They bought it at the rock. They implemented what they wanted us to freaking learn because they wanted to dumb everybody down. They didn't want us to know the truth about electricity, growing our food, the water, freaking being able to be independent and freaking and build shit and do things on our own. How in the fuck are they going to make money if we're doing everything? If we don't need them, they put us in need so that way we can rely on the government and keep our asses as slaves. Be free, man. Be free. Open your mind, do your research, do your due diligence, change the narrative for not only just us, but for our kids, our grandkids. Um, you know, I know this is off topic, but the world's getting shitty. Things are getting to a craziness where, some shit could go down any minute. So just be prepared. Um, and always be informed and keep up on your information because the way things are going down, like I get up at 5:30 in the morning with my kids, with my wife, because she has to get up. We get the kids up, get them ready for school, and the first thing I'm doing is like looking up everything, what's going on, what happened, you know. But yeah, ancient civilizations, man. I mean, to find out that these buildings and this architect. Yeah, and that's that. But I mean, when you're a young kid and you're sitting here listening to the teacher tell you that Christopher Columbus, in 1492, the history that was written is that he was the first person to discover North America. You're not going to dispute that. You're not going to go, wait a minute, you're fucking lying because the research shows that there were other people here in America before him, and the natives have freaking information about these people coming here from other countries. Come on, man. When we sit here and we look at these big ass structures, oh yeah, well, they had thousands and thousands of slaves that just built it. No, there's no way. And like I said, I don't. I just want to plant the seeds in people's mind to question everything, search, seek, and look and find the answers, because the world that we live in is not what we think it is. It's not. We're living in a fucking suppressed. We're living in the matrix. Wake up in the morning, go to work, do your shit, be slaves, pay your fucking taxes, spend your money in the fucking economy just to fucking have them do their thing. Instead of freaking looking inside and being who we're supposed to be and knowing who we are and why we're here in this place, knowing our history, knowing what our capabilities are and what we're capable of doing. Yeah, brother, Matt, it makes you wake up, because once you start waking up to the fact of the matter, things aren't what we've been told, or things aren't what they're telling us. You can see through the bullshit clear as day. I mean, I can't even watch the fucking news anymore. I can't. I can't watch these briefings they give, because you're just like, you're looking at them and they're spewing this crap out. It's like that movie They Live with Roddy Piper that came out back in the 80s. That was made by John Carpenter. It's like, once you have the glasses, you're looking at them and you see them for what they really are. It's all BS. And it makes you think, are these really people? Could this shit be fucking, could these people be something else? Oh, for sure, brother. I got Brett on here. He's talking about you know, the old maps. And that's the thing too. We were looking at old maps. Let me see if I could bring this one up. We were looking at old maps, right? And it talks about, it shows explain this to me, please. I gotta know. What your thoughts are on this one, because this just fucking tripped me out. What the fuck is that? Uh, what? Why would a person that is sophisticated enough, that is a professional map maker, mind you, nevertheless, okay? This isn't just some guy coming out with a fucking pen and just drawing and making shit up. I mean, look at this. This is fucking mind blowing, man. It's cool. You've got other ancient maps that show lands that are covered by ice. Here we go. Here's another good one. All right. Let's take a look at this one. That's not really a good image. Let's check out this one. Yeah, here we go. All right, can you guys see this? I'm probably not saying this right, but it's the old Paris map. And this is supposedly showing the South Pole, Antarctica. What we know as Antarctica, right? Whoops. You bastard. Are you guys seeing it? No. Hold on. Okay. All right, you guys are seeing it now. Okay, cool. So I mean, look at this. I can't. It's showing these creatures and this dog dancing around with a fucking monkey or some shit. Castles. Look at this. It's castles and buildings. And it's showing these serpents. Usually in old maps, I get it, in old maps. And it's got animals depicting antelope or what it looks like oxen or something walking around on this land mass. Hell yeah, dude. Oh, do you want me to go back to that one, dude? I'm sorry. I got all these windows open. Yeah, it's supposed to be California. Let me put it back up. It shows California as an island. Hold on. It says for centuries, California was a topic fiction as well. It was shown as an island until as late as 1865. There are over 700 maps depicting California as an island. Let's check this out together, shall we? I don't want to get wired. So let's check this out. See if I can enlarge it and come on, baby, load. All right, here we go. No thanks. Let me get this up on here for you, Brian. At what I'm looking at. Oh yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying. These animals didn't die years ago. Millions and millions of years ago. That's horseshit. We know that. These motherfuckers died hundreds or thousands of years ago. This shit is like something that couldn't have just happened. All right, so here's one of the maps. Here's another one. I mean, look at this, man. I mean, come on. What the fuck? And you got to remember something. Like I said, these men did surveys. They went out there and did this. Why would they depict this if it wasn't real? What would be the purpose of them covering this up? You know, if in fact it wasn't real, oops, I'm sorry. Let's go to another map. 1646. Come on, man. Look at this, dude. It's an old Japanese freaking map. Over here it says Florida. Now, could these maps, oops, possibly show like just because I mean it's showing the natives, obviously. And that to me is just it's wild, man. It's wild. The Sea of California. How fucking crazy, dude. They even had names of it. Could it just be that they were wrong and they were just looking at the Gulf of Mexico or something? I don't know. I don't know. Hold on, bro. You couldn't see it? Here, let me put it up again. Uh, Tell me if you could see it now. Brian's telling me he can't see it. So there it is. So yeah, here's the first one. Here's another one. And I'll put this link in the thing, dude, so you can check it out yourself if you want. And this is just wild, dude. Wild. Like I said, 1646. Obviously, it looks like a kid drew it, but I mean, and down here in the bottom, it says the one known world. And over here, it says part of Africa, and then you got Spain. So obviously, it wasn't really something. I mean, this is crazy, bro. Look at this. $16.98. And look how detailed this is, bro. And to me, the Chinese were The Asians were way past us, if you ask me. But yeah, man. I mean, this stuff is really something that I like getting into, and I like having these discussions and sharing it with you guys because it gets people to think about things, you know. And like I said, I mean, this thing with the technology and these old civilizations, dude, that just boggles me. What is the reasoning? I mean, I understand to keep everybody says, well, why would they want to just keep us in control when blah blah blah. Look at what's happening to fucking Texas right now. Texas is taking its matters for the safety of its population and doing what it needs to do constitutionally for the people and telling the government, go fuck yourself. They're doing exactly what needs to be done and they're making it happen. And the government's, you know, telling them, oh, if you don't do what we're going to tell you to do, then we're going to go in here and we're going to take matters in our own hands. We're going to freaking fight back. Texas is pretty much like, well, bring it on. A lot of crazy shit is happening in this world. It's nuts. I know a lot of people don't really care. And people are always like, you know, well, whatever, you're going to do your own thing. I'm just living my life. I got kids, blah, blah, blah. I got kids too. But that doesn't mean I have to be dumb and stupid and just freaking go with the flow and just not give a crap about what's happening on in the world or do my research or do due diligence and spread the word about things to have other people, you know, see what's really going on. That we're living in a time where these fucking elites are just doing whatever they want. They're suppressing our shit. They're fucking pumping us full of drugs. They're lying to us about shit in school. Well, there was like fucking what 12 or fucking something earthquakes that happened, and they put out a warning about the San Andreas fault. This was like last month. Getting crazy and freaking. I mean, this was when that whole issue with Japan and that big ass freaking 9 point something that hit them, and they got like 24 or 40 freaking earthquakes in the one day, New Year's Day or something like that. Yeah, man, a lot of stuff. You got to remember, man. Like, you don't have to sit there and let it rile you up. And out, I'm not gonna go stand on the fucking corner like Woody Harrelson in the movie 2012 and start preaching the end of the world or anything like that. But I mean, at least understand like what's going on. Like, see the world for what it really is. Don't be a freaking sheep. Realize that there's something bigger going on, that we are better and we are capable of doing more than what we are being told. We can live this life free. We don't have to be controlled by the government. Follow the narrative. We're sitting here. We have people, our grandfathers fought, built, and made this country what it was supposed to be. What their idea of a free nation and a free country was, that every man has his right to live his life in this country without the man freaking shafting him every day. And here we are. These fools are just running wild, doing whatever the fuck they want to do. And people are just like, oh, yeah, because they're scared. Oh, we're going to fucking do this. We're going to do that. These cocksuckers are going to do everything they can to keep you scared, to keep you dumbed down, to take your fucking freedoms away. Yeah, bro, I was seeing that. Sorry, I'm like getting off track because I'm all this stuff that's going on. But yeah, I was seeing something about they were saying that the Great Wall of China, if you look at that movie, The Wall, right? With Matt Damon. You look at that movie, The Wall, and with knowing what you're saying, Matt, about the ancient Tartarians building that wall, if you look in Russia, There was videos that they were showing this wall keeps going. All the way up there. But the walls are facing not outward from face an invader, like people that are coming into the country, you would expect it to be. They're actually facing into China. I didn't know that. See if I could pull that up real quick. And see, you can go on here and it says false. The Great Wall of China was built by Tartarians. Is a conspiracy. Yeah, that's another thing too, Brett. Like I don't get into it. I've seen a lot of videos where people are posting this stuff of of these things. I will take people's word on it because I've seen some crazy shit myself. So I'm not going to sit here and tell people, oh, well, it's just all bullshit. But at the same time, like Dr. Stephen Greer said, there are going to be things that are going to come out where it's a false narrative to push people to think one thing and get their eyes off of what's really going on, the real shit that's happening, and the real things that are going on. So it's like, is this something that really happened, or is it just something that they're just putting out there to distract us from other stuff? If there in fact was something, I'm not saying that these motherfuckers didn't open up a portal, because we know it's possible. Frequencies, sound waves, and they probably tuned into something or found out a way to open up something, and it did probably do it, and they were probably like, fuck it, let's go to a public place because these cocks follow us. So they did it. And a lot of things about that mall thing is that the airport was shut down, radio frequencies were shut down, people weren't allowed to use their phones because of whatever disturbance this thing was causing. So, I mean, shit, man. Like I said, I mean, it's possible, but you don't hear a lot about these things. It just goes by. Yeah, and that's why I said, man, that's let me see if I can open this up real quick. All right.
Is actually the Great Wall of Tartaria. There is a theory that says the Great Wall of China wasn't actually built by China, but by the Tartaria Empire. This might sound crazy, but if you look at old maps and photos, you would see that the steep side of the Great Wall, as well as the lookout post, are actually facing China. Normally this is done to prevent any invaders from climbing up, or picking off enemies with crossbows. So, is history covering up something? And, with all that said, is it possible that
Good shit. Nice one, Matt. Thank you for pointing that one out, bro. But yeah, man, I mean, the mall incident thing, dude, I don't know what to believe on that, man. It's kind of hard. I'm not the type of person that's like, oh, well, I got to see it to believe, because I've seen some shit, dude. So I know there's other things out there. I know there's other fucking, are the creatures here? They've got to be. And for you to have like 200 and something cops show up, and people, this guy posted a video on TikTok. His dad's the sheriff down there, and he's like, Dad, do you know about these? Like, I can't talk about it. Well, you can't say nothing. He's like, son, do you want me to spell it? How many different ways do you want me to chop it up? I can't talk to you about it. Just drop it. Why? And like I said, man, this goes back to the whole thing of, the need to know, or we don't need to know. We're the fucking people. Like, why do you hide shit from us? Well, it's so scary that we wouldn't want you to freaking know because it would cause mass hysteria. So go look at some fucking football and basketball and baseball. Just worry about that. But yeah, man, good stuff. Um, I wanted to play some more of these pictures and stuff to show you guys about this whole Tartaria thing and this um, technology they had. I'm gonna have to find that video and I'll post it on the page so you guys can check it out and look at it. But yeah, that shit blew me away, man. This chick pulled out a fucking radio, hooked a wire around the fire hydrant, pulled her fucking umbrella out and it had a coil on it, and she fucking starts calling the operator, dude, like a fucking cell phone. And the chick's in the radio thing, like, yeah, I'll connect your call. And I'm like, what? But hey, like I said, John Jacob Astor wrote that book, Journey to Other Worlds or Other Planets. And he talks about all that stuff. So this jives with the whole Tartarian thing about them being more civilized and more capable and technologically advanced than what we thought our old civilizations were. And like I said, this is like 200 years ago. This is recent. But I'm gonna wrap this up here in about 15 minutes. About 5 minutes. I'll probably just end up wrapping it up. We've been on here about 1 hour 45 minutes. I just want to tell you guys, thank you guys. I appreciate you guys for hanging out and being here and supporting me in this. And I'm glad that we get to have these talks and stuff. We're able to, hang out, share these topics and these ideas. And like I said, I mean, pass it on to your friends, pass it on to your buddies, pass it on to your family. I'm gonna look up a lot of stuff. I'm just passing the information out there to you guys. We talk about it. I'll give you what I have. Like I said, we'll look up stuff together on here, or you look up stuff, pass it to me. I'll open it up on here, and we'll all share it together. That's the way, that's the way the information gets passed around, and that's what this is meant to be. I wanted to do this because like I said, I talk about this shit all the time. And when I was working and I was talking to my friends, I would sit there and like bring shit up, and I would talk to everybody like, hey, and they're laughing at me and they're like, man, Sam, you're fucking crazy. And I'm like, well, why do I have to be crazy? It's just, it's just, I'm bringing it up. What do you think? Oh man, fuck that. Nobody cared. Nobody wanted to listen to it. But the more that I start, like I said, I've always thought about this stuff. I've always felt this way. I've always been like, there's got to be more out there. There's something that's not feeling right. It's not jiving. My whole religious aspect. I'm not religious anymore. I'm more. I wouldn't say spiritual, but I'm more on the verge of being in tune with everything around me. And yeah, brother, I appreciate you, Brian, man. For support, Matt, Brett, all the followers that have backed me up and that are following the page. I appreciate you, man. I love you guys. Thank you so much. And keep sharing the news, man. I mean, like I said, I'm not Joe Rogan. I'm not these, Russell Brand. I'm not these guys that are out here that got celebrity status and that are, out here and they got money to spend on fucking flashy this, and they got corporations to freaking back them up, or sponsors and stuff. I'm doing this shit out of my own pocket, and with the help of family members. My beautiful wife, like I said, I love her to death. I'm just glad that I have somebody that's able to put up with my shit, because she like, you're gonna fucking you need to this can have an outlet. Share this shit with your friend, with everybody, so that way they can hear it and you guys can have discussions. And I'm like, nah, nobody wants to hear this shit. Nobody wants to hear it. I'm sorry, I was adjusting because my fucking back starts hurting and my knees and whatnot. But I appreciate you guys all for being here, and for jumping on here with me. I can't see. One thing I hate about Facebook is you can't see who's following you. So stupid. Like, it says that there's 4 people on here, and I know one of them is me. One of them is my this page. There, man. No, but I love you guys, man. This is great, dude, and this is something that we get a chance to. That was in where, bro? Matt said, "Glad I got it on here. Time for a deep dive into all this stuff. Did anyone ever see shit that wasn't there in NVGs?" Yes. And I'm not saying that it wasn't there. I'm just gonna say that there was shit that we did see. Um, and I think, was it you that I can't remember, man. We were out on a thing in Kirkuk, and somebody had said they had seen some shit while they were out with um the Iraqi guard guys. Yeah, the fascinating things that I loved, because being over in the Middle East, you got to see a lot of historical stuff that you would not be able to see. And I'm talking about ancient Mesopotamian artifacts, relics, burial sites, walking places of Moses, the eternal flame, um, the burial site of Joseph, all kinds of stuff, man. It was great, great. I think the creator. I wouldn't doubt it, bro. I wouldn't doubt it. I know that I had spoken to our interpreter, my good friend Habib, who is living here in the States, and I love him to death too for supporting me in this. Is that I would talk to him a lot about a lot of Muslim culture, their beliefs on spirits and deities and things, and what their thoughts on it was. And he was, bro, we believe in things like jinn, um, demons, yeah, the Euphrates, that's in the heart of Mesopotamia. And then that goes back not only just to the biblical texts in Revelation, talking about the demons or the fallen angels that were chained up, and in the last days that they would be let loose on the earth to wipe out a third, I believe, of the population, and to wreak havoc and destruction on the earth in the last days before the second coming. And like I said, this stuff is nothing new. This is stuff that it's just regurgitated into a book, and everybody takes it literal because they're like, oh man, this is the one book that we have that tells us the truth. No, there are texts that go back thousands of years before the Bible that speak on this stuff. Big time. And like I said, please, if you do anything, do your research into this stuff. Look at things like Graham Hancock talking about ancient civilizations. You have Chariots of the Gods by Zachariah Sitchin. He talks about all this stuff. And you have other people. You have Greg Braden, who I've got the book, the God Code. if you haven't read it, I suggest you do, because it talks about how Greg Braden decoded the matrix code in our DNA and found the pretty much like a stamp saying that God is in us. God is in us, on our, written on our DNA, the code. You got to read it. The breakdown of it is pretty crazy. You know, if you ain't got it, get your Book of Enoch, read that. That's something that you got to get into too. I've got the Ancient Book of Josher. I got book on the Elohim. I've got Unearthing the Cloud Eaters. I mean, I've got my Bible here. But like I said, I mean, I look in. It's easier to look, like I talk about Billy Carson a lot because he's one of the guys that I fall back on, because he does a lot of his research, and he was been one of my pushed mentors. Besides, like other people that do their research, Graham Hancock. Like I said, he's another guy that was not a researcher on that stuff, but he got into it. He was a big time journalist, and he ended up, going, hey, there's got to be something else to this stuff, and he's written books on a lot of things too. And like I said, books. Billy Carson talks about reading books, because if you don't have the knowledge in your brain, what are you going to do when all this shit's gone? When the technology falls down and when the power grid goes down, you can't look up stuff in your computer. But if you remember it, and you can cite things and say, oh, well, this falls back onto this, or this jives up with this, and I can tell you about that. You can discuss it with people and be able to have something to fall back on, because you're not just a regurgitator of bullshit. And I appreciate him for saying a lot of that stuff. I'm not really knowledgeable on a lot of stuff. I'm just trying to pass out the information and the seeds and pointing you guys in the right direction to go check it out and look for yourself, because that's what it's about. If we can get together and say, hey, I don't know a lot about this, and somebody gets on and says, well, I do, check this out, and can cite or reference or come up with the information, that's what it's about. It's about us getting together, which is what they don't want. Because when we get together like this and we can research the stuff and we put the information out there and we look it up together, it makes us more stronger, because then we're getting off of that narrative of our following that sheep path, and we start looking into things. I had a really deep conversation with my son this morning, and he was asking me, well, Dad, what were you looking at? Because it was kind of interesting, because he was talking about how I was watching the video of Billy Carson talking about the Emerald Tablets and the correlation between Jesus and Thoth, if they were either the same person, or if Jesus, when he did his travelings between the ages of 12 and 33, the time period that he went missing, when he went to Egypt to study from the ancients that are the mystics that were there, did he learn this stuff from Thoth, or did he learn it from the mystics about Thoth and went back to Jerusalem to teach them? And Jesus going back in Tibet, we know that he went into Tibet and he was learning there, because even the Dalai Lama speaks on it, and he says, yes, that there was a man that was called Isha, they call him. And he was learning from the Buddhists there about the information and the knowledge that they had, and he was learning about healing powers and how the body to regenerate itself and whatnot. Then he went back down into India and he was learning from them, and then he went back into Egypt where he lived. Now, a lot of people don't know that, but Jesus lived in Egypt with Islam. How crazy is that? All right, brother. I love you, man. You guys take it easy. I'm about to get off here myself. I'm gonna wrap it up. But yeah, we're gonna get into a lot of these topics. It seems like it's crazy. Yeah. And that's the thing, man, is like all this information is out there. It's just being hoarded. It hasn't been found yet, or it's being translated in wrong ways, and it's taking a long time for people to translate it. It's happening. It's happening at a slow, steady pace, but it's us, the seekers, the people that want this knowledge, the ones that are wanting to find this information, going out there and looking for it. These places, like that, going and getting hands on these artifacts, going to these countries and seeing it for ourselves, and going and speaking with the people that have done research and sharing with them or keeping up with them. Hey, good night, brother. I love you, man. Send my blessings to the family. I appreciate you, and I'll keep in touch, man. And yeah, thank you, man, for all the support, Ether. Appreciate you, man. He's about to head off off of the page right now, but yeah, it's about us, man. We gotta go out there and search for it. We gotta be seekers, man. So I hope everybody had a good time. Um, I know I sure did, and I appreciate everybody for joining in and being here, and information and sharing knowledge. It's great. I love it. Um, we're gonna have to do this again next Friday. I will let you know what the topic is gonna be, and we'll get on to that um, later on this week. I'll let you guys all know what it's gonna be on. And like I said, I'm learning just as much as you guys are, and we're doing it together. We're seeking this knowledge and this information together. I'm letting you guys know what the topic is. Y'all want to get some research going on, and then you want to bring it onto the show on Friday like a Bible study? Hell yeah, man, we'll do it. But I'll bring what I got to the table, and y'all bring what you guys got to the table, and we'll both do it together, and we'll all figure it out. But like I said, my soul and my spirit, I know that this is not right. Whatever's going on, they're hiding from us. We got to figure it out and find it out together. And if we can do it, whatever I get my information and what I know, I'm going to pass it on to you guys, because it ain't going to do no good for me to hoard it and keep it to myself. So, like I said, I thank you guys all for being here. Thank you guys for hanging out. And we're going to have to do this again next Friday. And I will keep in contact with you guys over the week. Have a blessed weekend. Please be safe. And remember, if you got a gut feeling that's telling you something, listen to it. Just be careful out there. The world is nuts. And I appreciate you all for being along with this ride and the support. It means a hell of a lot to me. And yeah, let's get out there and seek this knowledge and seek this information and become more knowledgeable, more awake, and more wise. And I will see you guys next Friday. Thank you. Much love. And yeah, we'll have to do this again. Thank you guys. Appreciate you.